What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday evening. This is going to be the weekly video that I make showing some of the top setups that I'm keeping an eye on as far as potential buys and sells. First thing, as always, want to take a look at the economic calendar. Okay, get the boring stuff out of the way right away. Okay, the stuff that basically helps with the overall direction from the top. Okay, fundamental analysis, sentiment analysis, things of that nature. These are the reports, as always, that really push items in that direction, in a specific direction, whether it's up or down. Okay, so this is where it all starts. So I'll take a real quick minute, go through the calendar itself, maybe go through small handful of my top setups, both on the bullish side and on the bearish side of what I'm looking to buy or sell this week, and we get some ideas that you guys can use for the week. So yeah, just starting with Monday the 15th. Okay, 15th already. We got 15 days left, 16 days left this year. This year has absolutely flown by, if you ask me. It's crazy. It just seems like it gets faster and faster. But anyway, yeah, the Monday tomorrow. Only thing we've got on tap for the high impact red folder events is Canada's inflation reports coming out. And as you can see there, they are projecting a 0.1% decline. Okay, on the month over month number. And that's if that comes out, then I would expect that the Canada dollar would weaken slightly. Okay, it's nothing too crazy, too drastic, but anytime you decrease the potential for inflation, that typically decreases the dollar's value, the Canada dollar. Okay, now it's good for their stock market, good for their pocketbooks, but as far as the currency, just the currency by itself, okay, that would be a little bit weaker of a sign. Canada is already one of the weaker currencies as well, which you'll see in a second. I'll actually take a quick look at the different currency indices. Okay, and you'll see we'll show you a breakdown of all the recent reports for all these 8 major currencies that I like to trade. But yeah, just know that Canada is on the weaker side overall. I've got quite a few weaker currencies. There's really only 2 currencies right now that I'm really interested in buying. And there's one currency in particular that I'm really interested in selling. So I think it's just the reverse of last week. And last week, I think there was a couple I wanted to sell, one I wanted to buy. So kind of flip that around. And we'll get to that in just a second after we go through this. So yeah, that's basically it for Monday, guys. Real short and sweet, 7:30 a.m. And of course, all these times are Central Standard Time since I'm here in Kansas City area. So just add an hour to it if you're interested in the New York time. But yeah, that's it for tomorrow. Okay, short and sweet. Tuesday, got the claimant change for the British pound. The pound also has some purchasing managers index reporting coming out where they are expected, as you can see there, to be slightly on the higher side. So if that does come out true, that would potentially give the British pound a little bit of a boost up. Along with the claimant change count, as you can see, it's a little bit lower. So that would obviously, this could potentially be a wash. It could potentially cancel each other out. So we'll see how that goes for the British pound on Tuesday. Other than that, you do have the Euro PMI data coming out as well, where you can see they are projecting the manufacturing sector to be slightly higher, which would obviously increase the euro. But on the other side, you've got the services PMI that's projected to come out a little bit lower. So if both of these numbers are correct, then you could potentially see a similar story as the British pound. Okay, just they would just basically kind of cancel each other out. I mean, I particularly like the services sector a little more. Okay, just because it's a little more modern. 100 years ago, the manufacturing, it would be all about the manufacturing. Okay, the industrial age, growth, buildings, construction, that sort of thing. But nowadays, guys, we're in the age of the internet. So services PMI, in my opinion, has just got a little bit more weight. But again, this could be a simple wash. Maybe get a little volatility up and down, kind of sideways, choppy action for the euro. So we'll see how that comes out. And then finally on Tuesday, the U.S. dollar does have our core sales come out, the non-farm employment change numbers, retail sales, unemployment rate. So we got a whole slew of data. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, average hourly earnings looks like they are projected to bump up 0.1%. So that's obviously good. That means people are getting pay raises. Real simple. Okay, real simple. So that's that number. Core retail sales looks like a 0.1% decline if this comes out true. So a little bit on the negative side. Non-farm employment change. Okay, previous number 50 excuse me, previous number 119K, only projected to have 50K. So this is one that could potentially stir up some volatility. All 5 of these are happening right at 7:30 a.m. as you see there. So yeah, non-farm employment change, always a big one. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then yeah, retail sales looks like it's projected to remain the same. Unemployment rate projected to go 0.1% higher. So yeah, guys, if these all ring true, I definitely would be leaning heavily into that non-farm payroll, the unemployment rate. Retail sales is already canceling each other out, so we could potentially see a little bit of a decline. Okay, and I say potentially because I don't know. I have no idea, right? Never know. Nobody knows. But if these readings read true, that's kind of the way I would see that. Maybe a little sideways choppy action, slight bump down. We'll see. We'll see. So that's again the 7:30 data. Now, an hour and 15 minutes later, we got the PMI data for the dollar come out, and as you see there, 0.1% higher on the manufacturing side, 0.1% less on the services side. So again, that could just kind of be a watch. Okay, maybe a little sideways volatility, chop action. Um, but yeah, it really just kind of depends on if any of these reports come out hot or cold relative to the forecast. So as always, guys, anytime you get a big chunk of red folder events, or even if it's just one, it's just the best idea just to at least that 5, 10, 15 minutes before the report comes out, just stay away from the market. Let the market numbers drop and it do its thing. You guys, you'll see these charts start going up and down I always say like a earthquake telemetry machine. And then just give it at least 5, 15 minutes, maybe a half hour, up to an hour on some of these reports before you try to go in and jump into a trade because you can get chopped to pieces. So just be aware and be careful at that time on Tuesday, just so that we keep our accounts solvent. Okay, if you're in a challenge account, you're not breaching an account because of some silly 2% rule. Okay, 2% loss or anything of that nature. So yeah, that's Tuesday. Wednesday, just a couple items. Looks like we do have the British pounds inflation report coming out, the CPI. Okay, that's this number here, projected 0.1% lower. So if that comes out true, would be a little negative on the currency, a little easier on the Brits pocketbooks. Okay, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, and obviously that would help their stock market out as well. So. And then finally, New Zealand dollar, they've got their GDP report number coming out. Wow, previous number was minus 0.9. They are projecting a 0.8 increase. So that would definitely help out the New Zealand dollar, which could use all the help they could get. New Zealand dollar is currently the weakest currency on the 8 majors that I track. And I'll show you guys that here in just a moment. So yeah, New Zealand definitely needs some good news. So we'll see how that shakes out. Thursday is another big day. British pound with their rate statement coming out, projecting 25 basis point decline, as you see there, 4% down to 3.75. Okay, Governor Bailey will be flapping his lips shortly thereafter to cuss and discuss and see how everything shakes out from the statement from their 25-point cut. Okay, assuming that's what the case is. What else we got? The euro, they're going to have their rate statement come out as well. They're projecting to keep theirs the same at 2.15%, with their lip flapping session to follow as well. 7:30 a.m. Our weekly unemployment claims we get here in the States, along with our year-over-year inflation number. Okay, that's the CPI print coming out. So we don't yet have a forecast on that, but we do have the previous number was 3%. So during this week, I'm sure that number will fill in at some point. We'll be able to better gauge, if what a hot or cold number would look like. So to be determined on that. Also, consumer price index for the core and regular numbers month over month for the dollar. Same thing. We don't have any forecasts on those yet as at this time. Again, it's 5:46 p.m. Central Standard Time on a Sunday. So we'll see those numbers fill in over the week for sure. And those are tentative times, by the way. Okay, it's an old secret that Japan likes to do. Just kind of keep everybody guessing, not put the time in. So we'll see how that shakes out or what time we get it. Again, it'll fill in over the week. ACB press conference. Okay, they'll have their flip flapping session to talk about the statement itself, the rate decision that they came up with, which is 30 minutes after the release itself. Japan, same thing. Okay, Japan's getting a rate release. Look at this. Okay, they were at a previous number of 0.5%, and they're projecting a 25 basis point increase on their rates. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Japanese yen has been quite weak lately, especially when you look at a chart of the dollar yen. It's just been going straight up, straight up, straight up. Okay, that's the yen getting weaker and weaker. Of course, Japan, as always, is one of those countries that definitely flirts around with the I word quite a bit, the intervention. And anytime they intervene with their currency, I've seen that thing fly 1,000, 2,000 pips, okay, in either direction, depending on what their goal is. So yeah, we'll see how that all shakes out on Thursday, followed by their monetary policy flip flapping session there to follow. And then lastly, on Friday, Bank of Japan. Well, that's going to be their lip flapping session. Okay, again, as a result of the policy rate decision. And then lastly, British pound retail sales, pretty dismal number. The previous report release, okay, minus 1.1%. They are projecting to bounce back a little bit with a 0.4% increase, which would obviously be good for the currency. So that's your economic calendar in 11 minutes already. Holy cow! I swear, I tell you what, I take so long at these, and I feel like I'm going quick. So I'm going to go even quicker going through the top set of this page, guys. How does this all shake out? Well, there are two currencies. Actually, let's do this. I want to go to the currency indexes first. Okay, Australia, guys, this has been the one that's been on top of my watch list the last couple of weeks. Australia dollar is the strongest currency. Look at this. It's exceeded expectations on 83% of its recent economic report releases. That's the fundamental analysis. Okay. So last 7 days, okay, again, anytime you see something in orange like this, that's been released within the last 7 days of the last 7 days. Simple as that. Only thing we've had is the unemployment rate, where they did have a nice bullish number, maintained the bullish rating they had even before that. So you guys can see it's exceeded expectations. The Aussie dollar has on 83%. This is still number one currency I want to buy this week. Okay, Aussie dollar. Let's take a look here. British pound. Okay, this one's a little bit weaker. Okay, it's only a 40%, and I'll just breeze through this real quick. But they did have a bearish GDP report come out on the 12th, okay, a couple days ago, Friday. Okay, so it's just cemented and actually dropped the score on this. I think we were in the 50s last week, but this is again one of the weaker currencies. Now it's not super weak. 40 to 60 is kind of the neutral range, if you ask me. But this is getting pretty close to bearish. So as it stands, pretty neutral. Not anything I necessarily want to buy or sell hardcore. It's just kind of blah, it's kind of there. And you'll see a common theme because a lot of these currencies are like this. Okay, that was the pound. Let's take a look at the Canada dollar. Okay, 40%, same thing. Okay, kind of neutral, not really exciting either way. We'll go ahead and skip that. Here's the US dollar. Okay, it's up here. Now the dollar, it's dropped as well, guys. We had that negative jobless claims number that came out on Thursday. Okay, we did have a bullish number for the JOLTS job number. So those numbers kind of canceled each other out. But because the previous reading on the jobless claims was more neutral, this one coming in bearish, it actually dropped down the percentage a little bit. So we're down to 41% down there with the Canada dollar and British pound as well. Okay, so again, not too exciting to necessarily want to go buy or sell hardcore. So we'll skip that. The euro, okay, here's the euro. It's 50%. It's right there in the middle. We didn't have any major releases over the last 7 days, as you can see there from the dates. They're all the solid white color. Okay, so yeah, 50%. Okay, it's exceeded expectations on half, and it's missed expectations on half. And then we had the one neutral that kind of canceled it out on the retail sales way back on the 4th, which was 10 days ago. So yeah, I mean, that's as neutral gets. Not too excited to go out and buy or sell that one as well. Let's take a look at the yen, the Japanese yen. This is pretty close to the dollar, the Canada dollar, and the British pound. It's only a 42%. So a little on the weaker side. They did have a negative GDP number, as you can see up here, back on the 7th, which was a week ago. And then they also had a neutral number for their PPI report. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, 2.7%. So they nailed that one right on the head. Again, guys, a lot of these currencies are just kind of boring right now. Okay, so far we've had a good Aussie dollar, which is one I want to buy. But as far as the British pound, the Canada dollar, the dollar itself, the US dollar, and the euro, these so far, and the Japanese yen, okay, that's 5 in a row. That's just not looked very appealing either way. So they're just too neutral for me. But what is not neutral is the Swiss franc. Look at this. Okay, we're over that 60%. Okay, remember I told you 40 to 60%, pretty neutral, not exciting, blah. But you take a look at the Swissy, and it's up at the 66% range. So exceeding expectations on 2/3 of its reports. Now this one's been the same for a while. You guys see we haven't had any releases in the last 7 days. So yeah, I mean the most recent numbers we've had come out of Switzerland has been that PMI data, which was positive, which was bullish, as well as the as well as the what was it? Yeah, well, the PMIs, the retail sales, okay, all that. Their PPI report, it's been now a month and 1 day since it's come out. It was bullish um, on its end. And then as far as the employment numbers down here, just meeting expectations. Okay, nothing too fancy. Actually, I'm just now seeing that the forecast numbers on the employment change aren't there. They're actually doing some updates, I think, on the Edge Finder itself. Okay, we've had a few. I've noticed a few things that haven't been calculating property, but it's okay. For the most part, I've got everything I need. You know, again, nothing's changed. So if nothing's changed, I'm still looking to buy it. Okay, I already know that there is at least one or two on the Edge Finder as far as the top setups that I'll take a look at with the Swiss franc. So we'll get to that in a second. So far, I want to buy the Aussie dollar. I want to buy the Swiss franc. That leaves one other one, and I still haven't even talked about the one I want to sell. What's that going to be? The ZXC, the New Zealand dollar. Okay, this is the ZXY index. Look at this. Look at this impact. Ugh, ugh, that's sick. 25%. That means 3/4 of all their reports have not been so well. Again, you cancel out the neutrals that you see here. You got 3 bearish, you got 1 bullish. Okay. The only thing we had in the last 7 days was their manufacturing PMI number, which did come out neutral. So it's kind of a wash. A lot of a wash is there. So when everything's a wash, you just got to look at the ones that actually beat or missed expectations. And we've had 3 that have missed. Okay, that's the GDP, the services PMI, and the PPI itself. The only thing that's been positive has been the retail sales with the bullish number there. So this is the one I want to sell this week. Buy the Aussie dollar, buy the Swiss franc, and sell the New Zealand dollar. That's my watch list for the week. So having said all that, let's take a quick look at the top setups. Okay, let's look and see what we got. Number 1, Euro Yen, very top. Okay, that's the number 1 item I want to be buying this week. Number 2, right behind it, is everybody's favorite gold. XAU USD, where are you at? Or GLD, it doesn't matter what instrument you trade, whether it's a CFD or a futures instrument or whatever. Okay, gold is still looking pretty good. It's just looking great. Right behind it's the S&P 500. This is a good old friend that hasn't been on the list for a while. Up this high anyway. It was in neutral. The U.S. indices were pretty neutral for quite a while, but of late they have popped back onto my bullish list. So you got the S&P 500 right there. Now there's a lot of them, a slew of them that are 8s, score of 8s. Okay, as you can see right in this area, you got S&P, you got Euro dollar, silver, the NASI, and Aussie yen, all are receiving scores of 8. So I would say from the Aussie yen up, these are going to be the ones I care about the most. Okay, these 8s and higher. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches right now. There's a lot of stuff on my top setups. So whenever I have it like this, guys, look, I'm going to stick with the very bullish scores. The stronger, the better. And then also the very bearish items. Okay, the ones that are the most bearish. So down here, I'd be the most interested in pound Aussie, which is the one that's paid me already a couple times in the last week or so. That's number 1 short sell, asset item that I'm looking at. And then pound New Zealand is right behind it. Okay? Minus 13 pound Aussie, minus 7 pound New Zealand. Those are going to be my 2 favorites. And if I look at all the ones that I like the most, and I have alerts set, which I do, if there's nothing that's close, then I'll be starting to dig into some of these other lower bearish scores, like the dollar Swiss, pound CAD, pound Swiss. Okay, that'll be some other ones. Secondary options, and then the same thing is true up here. Okay, if I don't have anything near my alerts, my supply and demand zones up here, we'll start going into the 7s and the 6s. Okay, you got the German DAX on there, you got the Russell. Bitcoin is still on the list. Okay, it's +6. It actually just hit an alert just a little bit ago, but I just don't really quite like the demand zone area where it's at, so I haven't pulled the trigger. Okay, the markets here have been open now an hour and 56 minutes, just about 6 p.m. So we'll take another look at that as the Asian market kind of comes into full morning force there. Bitcoin's always a big deal. It's a big deal overseas, just like gold and silver. So might potentially see what we got there. But let's just take a quick look, guys. I know it's already been 20 minutes. I'm going to take a look at Euro Yen, gold on the charts with you, and then I'll take a look at the pound Aussie. We'll just stick with the top three, okay? The top two bullish and the number one bearish, and we'll see what we got. I don't want to make this video too long, so let's do it. Aussie, excuse me, Euro Yen. Where are you at? Euro Yen, Euro Yen, right here. Okay, look at this daily time frame, you guys. This is nothing but higher highs and higher lows since way back on Liberation Day. Okay, so let's zoom in. I care the most about this little swing low point and the swing high point. So you guys see I've got some demand zones drawn up down here on some smaller time frames. I do have one higher up on the curve, okay, which you see that's where that alert is. So this is definitely, if I happen to have price drop in this area, and we'll take a look at the smaller time frame in a second, then this is going to be a confirmation entry. If price drops in, it's got to come out and break a structure and then return for a new zone for a buy. Okay, that's that. Down here, a little more relaxed. Maybe if it's close to going to bed, I would put in a limit order. I'd be okay with that. I will not go to bed with a limit order up here. It's too expensive. Too expensive from this swing low to the swing high. Okay, so that's daily. Let's go down to a 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour. Let's take a look down here. Now again, this is the swing low point. You see, I got a 4 hour demand zone here. And I've got another demand zone down here that's not a 4 hour because it's, you guys can see it's not a 4 hour candle here. So, and then back up here, again, the confirmation order only, still don't have a zone. So let's drop another time frame to the 1 hour. So, okay, so here's 1 hour. Okay, here's that higher up zone. Let's just swing out so you can see. Okay, swing low down here, swing high. Now, again, I got this after all this just sideways chop fest, right? That's as pretty as it gets when you're talking sideways trend, right? Well, after that sideways trend kind of started breaking out, you can see it pushed down below the double bottom, okay? Double bottom, triple bottom, however you want to look at it. And then immediately shot back in and kept going, okay? Liquidity sweep, that's basically what happened right here. Price action came down below all these, all these little lows over here, collecting that liquidity, and then just kept going up. So that is a place of interest. And again, I'm not limit ordering this. So let's just go down to well, before we do that, let's go over here. Okay. So here's my, this was my 4 hour demand zone right here. Okay. Do I have a gap here as well? Looks like I do. Okay. There is a gap there. There's a gap here. We'll just do this. So so if this zone fails on me, then I've got one down here with a 4 hour and a 1 hour confluence. Okay, so I would just essentially put my alert ahead of this 4 hour demand zone, ahead of the proximal line of it. So I don't really care about all this down here at the moment, because I care more about the here and the now, which is right here. So there we go. 1 hour. Let's go down to a 30. Okay, do I have a gap here? No, I do not. I mean, unless you want to count the top of this candle, but I'm just going to keep it with the daily, or with the 1 hour itself. Go down to 15, guys. 15 minute. Okay, there's the 15 minute. Okay, all these candles are overlapping, except you do have a gap. It's just a little bit higher out. Okay, this red candle here. Okay. The next candle was the leg out candle. So I'm actually, even though the 1 hour demand zone is the green box itself, I'm going to actually move my alert up ahead of this 15 minute. Yes, it is out of the box, but the bottom of it is in the box. So we're going to get yelled at and screamed at, if and when that comes to that price. So yeah, not really. Yeah, there's nothing really else to say on that, guys. I'm just going to wait for that to happen. So that's Euro Yen. Let's go look at gold. Okay, this is going to be the second bullish asset, and then we'll go to the bearish one, and then we'll be done. Okay, gold. What are we looking at? Go zoom all the way out. Okay, riding this trend up daily. So let's go to a 4 hour. Okay, swing low, swing high. As you can see, price has already wicked into this box. So we'll get to that box in a second. But the lowest box is going to be this one down here. So this is going to be my 4-hour demand zone down here. It's a long way. Damn. Excuse me, guys. It's a long ways away, but you guys see how strong of a drop that we did have on Friday morning. This is a 4-hour candle that just dropped like a rock. Now it bounced into this demand zone down here. So let's see what we got. Okay, that's a 1 hour. Here's a 30-minute. Here you go. Okay, there's our 30-minute demand zone. And price dropped in perfectly, wicked in, and then wicked out, and then it started a slow climb up. So, in this demand zone is not a bad spot because you essentially had this low point here, these lows, a double bottom, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that means there's stop loss orders under here. Well, what did price do? It came down and searched for those stop loss orders. And it just so happened it was in the middle of a demand zone as well. So really good spot for people to buy. I personally didn't buy into it because I don't think it did it? No. Oh, yeah, no. I actually got into the gold trade back here, made a few bucks on it. I ignored it here. I was more focused on something else. And it was, number one, guys, it was a very strong drop. Look at that. That was a lot of volume. Okay. The volume spread analysis candles and the volume bars themselves down below. That was a very, very strong push down. I didn't necessarily want to get in the middle or in front of that freight train. So I just let it do its thing, but you guys can see the power of supply and demand. Okay. It was only a 30-minute time frame, but it bounced in that demand zone and just wicked out perfectly. So I'm gonna keep the zone there. I just changed it to light green as opposed to the dark green like you see down here. That just mentally tells me that there's something wrong with it. It's been touched, mitigated. Maybe there's not a gap in there that I like to see. Okay, the confluences. So yeah, we'll just leave it there. But the next move for me, really, for gold is obviously going to be this next zone down here. You see a white line there. Okay, that's a confluence on a gap on a smaller time frame. So I like it. I like that. I like that area. For you fib retracers, I don't know. Let's see. Do we have a fib retracement number there? Not really, guys. This is kind of in the kill zone, the 71 to 88% area. It's not as popular as the golden zone that everybody likes to use, that 50 to 61.8. But it is a different one nevertheless. So that's one I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm not much of a fib trader. I just wanted to show you guys that for the fib traders that are out there. But yeah, look, that's going to be my alert on gold, 42.26 area. Okay. Yeah, and just of note, okay, this actually created a brand new supply zone on a 1-hour time frame. Why is that? Well, when price left this area, it broke through this little bottom action. Okay. Now it wasn't strong enough to break through the demand zone, that 30-minute demand zone that I just showed, but it broke through some bottoms, and look at that. It's just a huge move. So I have to be aware of whatever the hell happens if and when price returns up here. If I'm in a long. So if I am buying, if price comes all the way down to my demand zone of interest and I'm buying, okay, if price gets up in this area, then I don't want to be stupid and just not try to lock in some of these gains. I'd be having a stop loss in. Let's just call this my stop loss. Okay, I started off with this stop loss under here. Okay, under the zone itself. If price is riding up here, I need to start trailing my stop loss to start locking gains. Get to 1-to-1 as fast as humanly possible to take away the risk. Okay, and that's after I've got a 1-to-1 reward to risk. Okay, but yeah, as we start getting closer up, I got to start choking this thing out because price could very easily get into the zone and then bounce all the way down and erase all my unrealized gains. So yeah, that's essentially what I would do on this, guys. That's my gold trade. Yeah, really the 42.23 level is going to be my favorite area. You guys, again, see that white line? That is a smaller time frame confluence. So there you go. Long ways away, but yeah, I mean, I could probably get involved in some of this smaller time frame action up in here, but I just feel like it's overpriced. I feel like gold wants to come and search for a new higher time frame demand zone. Okay, as always. Price loves supply and demand zones. They act as magnets. Okay, that's where all the unfilled orders are. So that's going to be my play for gold. And then the last one, guys and gals, just to double check, okay, is going to be the number one bearish asset. My favorite for now, going on the 3rd week in a row, the pound Australia dollar at a -13. This thing's just getting beaten to hell. Let's go take a look at pound Aussie, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. Daily. Okay, here's our daily. Okay, same as always. Lower lows, lower highs. Let's go down to a 4-hour because I'm looking at this swing high, this swing low down here. Okay, you guys see I got a zone way up there. Now it looks to me like it's going to be on probably a 1-hour. So that's obviously going to be the higher probability one, but that's a long ass ways away, guys. We're talking 250 pips. So let's see if we can find something here nearby because, again, this is a minus 13. This thing's as weak gets. So if I look at this recent swing high here, let's go zoom in from a 4-hour to a 1-hour and see what we got. Okay. Over here, up higher, we do have a 1-hour supply zone. Okay. That's going to be a nice little spot. But let's take a look right here in this area. Okay, let's go to the 30-minute. Nope. 15-minute. Nope. Okay, all these candles are still overlapping when you're looking at wicks and bodies. So let's go down to the 10-minute. We got anything on 10-minute? I have an alert there, so it must be something good. Okay, it's a 10-minute supply zone. Look at this. Okay, green candle, leg out, and then there's your gap from here to here. That's going to be your fair value gap. Okay, showing strength on this leg out. So return to price, close the gap, and then collect unfilled orders. That's going to be my play of the week, at least early on at the 2.0137 level. Let's just zoom out, go back over here. Now, again, guys, this is going to be a confirmation entry. This is not a limit order for me. This is a confirmation entry. So as always, got to see price enter, bounce, create a new low, higher low, come back in, okay, and break this structure, just like this, and then come in to find a new supply zone. Okay, so just keep in mind, I need a low point, a new low point right there, and I need price to go back in the zone, but come out and break this high, showing that it's trying to break structure and go the opposite way. This is not my trigger to short sell, though. Okay, my trigger to short sell is have a new supply zone form in that area, and then have price return. And this right here is the trigger. It's when it comes back into that newly formed supply zone, just showing that it's breaking a structure. That's number one. Yes, this can always drop and run off, and I miss out on the trade completely. But as always, I say this almost every time. It could very easily go right through and stop me out for a loss. So by this proving that it's trying to turn around, that gives me a little more of a heads up that, hey, this supply zone might actually work. So that's going to be the number one play for that. I need to turn that red for the pound Aussie. And then obviously, guys, buy to cover right in this area, just ahead of this demand zone on a 1-hour time frame. So that's it, ladies and gents. Pound Aussie shorts, Euro yen, and gold longs. 1, 2, and 3 on my list. I'll get into whichever. If I don't have anything, again, I'll go deeper and deeper down my list. There's something. I'll be getting into some trades this week for sure. I will say last week, as I wrap up, was a really good week for me. I was $14 short of 3K. No, it was $12 short of 3K. Now I forgot to short, or I'll be honest, I forgot to close one of my stock trades. Okay. I forgot to close it. I'm up enough on it. It would have been 3K if I would have just closed the damn thing, but I got too sidetracked. I do a whole bunch of things during my trading days, so but it was a very good week. My goal this week is to repeat that, but stay true to my rules because I have this habit. I don't know about you guys. I have a habit of I'll have a really, really good trading week, and then the next week I think I'm invincible or I break a rule. Right? I just let something slip. Okay? If you're that way, comment rules. Okay, comment rules telling me, and it's okay. Okay, the first step to fixing anything is admitting your faults. So my goal this week is to follow all my rules, which sounds so simple, so that I have a great week again and not think I'm king ding-a-ling or somebody that's walking on water. But look, that's all I got for you for now. I got to get up out of here. I'm gonna get this uploaded. Guys, tune in to me tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. until 8 o'clock a.m. And this is, of course, Central Time for Forex Fire. By the way, we're going to have some exciting changes coming up very soon. So definitely, if you guys haven't watched in a while, definitely watch this week. We'll be announcing some things, some changes. Let's just put it that way. So with that, ladies and gents, I'll put well, actually, just go to YouTube, and make sure you go and follow us. Okay, follow us over here on YouTube. It's going to be Ola Prime Official, right here. Okay, follow us here at Ola Prime Official, and in the live, this is where you'll find our live streams. So, with that, ladies and gents, have a wonderful day. Let's make it a great week. Adios.